I think it's time that I give my official endorsement in the Wisconsin gubernatorial race. The one race that, my vote actually does matter because, I live in Wisconsin and will be voting in the primary. And I have not talked about this race enough. I made a couple videos, but considering this is my home state, I've not talked about this race, at all. But after looking at all the endorsements, after looking at the platforms and the context of the candidates, I'm going to officially support somebody. And some people on Twitter, saw my opinion on it. And some of you probably already know who I'm going to support. And this was a tough decision. And I'm going to say this. Before May, I was supporting Kleefish. All right? Before May, I was a big fan of Kleefish. But ever since then, I've started to change my opinions. And folks, here's my opinion. I'm officially endorsing Tim Michels to become the next governor of the great state of Wisconsin. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And, yeah. Also, join the channel. That is right, folks. For just 10 cents a day, you can join Real American Politics and help support the daily content I'm bringing to you guys, well, daily. So, hope you join Real American Politics today and get a good feeling in your heart. Also, for $5 a month, you can, get a shout out at the end of each video. So, I think it's a good deal. Alright, so I'm going to explain why I support Tim Michels. I've privately supported him since late May. Alright. I've privately been leaning towards Michels, but the past couple of weeks have solidified my support for the man, Tim Michels. Look, Rebecca Kleefish was always supposed to be Scott Walker 2.0, but a more socially conservative version of him. That's a fact. I mean, you go to Kleefish's, Wikipedia page. You scroll down here, all right? Look at this. And this is why, all right? Just, look at this. This is what we're talking about. She was always the more socially conservative Scott Walker. And that's why I supported her originally. I thought, okay, I wasn't the biggest fan of Scott Walker, alright, on some stuff. I think he did good on, some of the union stuff, because, folks, I'm pro-union to an extent, but what was happening here in Wisconsin with the unions was nonsense. And Walker did a good job with that. But outside of that, it's kind of meh. But I always enjoyed Rebecca Kleefish for her social issues. Well, in 2022, she completely flip-flopped on birth control, on gay marriage, etc. She was vehemently opposed to gay marriage. Look what she said about gay marriage in 2010. Alright? And even back then, it was seen as extreme. But now she suddenly flipped and supports it? Look, Tim Michels, he may have flipped on some issues, but that was 15, 16 years ago. For Kleefish, that was 12, right? Or less than 12. Back in 2018, she was against it. So less than 4. So you see the problem I have with Rebecca Kleefish flipping on gay marriage. Now, what changed? And with Tim Michels, yes, again, he flipped on some issues since he ran in 2004 for the Senate race. But he had the balls to come out and essentially say, I'm against gay marriage in the year 2022. He's a more socially conservative candidate than Rebecca Kleefish. That was the strong suit of Kleefish. Outside of that, Michels has Kleefish defeated on every single issue. Social issues was always the one thing Kleefish had the advantage over. Not anymore. Not anymore. Michels, in my opinion, look, the risk with him was always, okay, was he going to be conservative enough? Well, he's the most conservative candidate in this race. And the past couple of weeks, the Kleefish campaign has just imploded. You look at the polling, which again, I know polling's not everything. Look at this. I know Trump endorsed Michels, but that doesn't explain the total just collapse of Kleefish. That's bad. You were in the high 60s, and now you're barely cracking 30%. That's not good. And again, her campaign's been a disaster the past couple of weeks. I mean, you look at this. Mike Pence endorsed Rebecca Kleefisch, which, that's not the issue. The problem I have is Kleefisch has been touting this as the true conservative endorsement and all that stuff. Essentially, what every Mike Pence candidate has done this cycle to try to spite Trump. All right, ever since Trump endorsed Michaels, she's lost it. That's all I will say about it. Plus, you look at the polling, he's starting to run away with it. Michaels is. Now, people are going to say Tim Michaels isn't good on the issues because what he said in 2004. Yes, in 2004, he supported stuff like the Patriot Act. But for one, this race has nothing to do with foreign affairs. This is a governorship election. Second of all, it's highly likely that he changed his opinions on it. I mean, yes, people are going to say this and this and this. I mean, but people seemingly forget what Tim Michaels said in the debates in 2004 against Russ Feingold. I mean, he was attacking George Soros back then. He was, attacking free trade, etc. It's like, we need trade protectionism. We need to go after George Soros, etc. Way ahead of the curve on that. But people just mysteriously ignore that. And, the issue with Kleefisch also was, again, her endorsements. Nikki Haley, Ted Cruz, Mike Pence. Ugh! And that's awful. That is an awful list of people. And yes, she has the endorsements of the state legislators. But I don't think that's the best. That's my opinion. But overall, Tim Michaels is the best candidate. I mean, let's go over his campaign page. It's 5 issues he's mostly focused on. Economics, government reform, education, back the blue, or crime, and election integrity. All right? It's simple. It's not this nonsense where it's like some generic talking points, kind of like Kleefisch is doing. Let's go through this, all right? So Tim Michaels actually has a good platform on economics. This is where I think he easily beats Kleefisch. Yes, Kleefisch supports some of the similar things, but this is something that Michaels supports. He wants to get rid of the property tax. He just says, screw it, let's get rid of it. He wants to recruit out-of-state veterans to join the workforce by improving VA hospitals and providing businesses with hiring incentives. This is good stuff. Leverage our water and work ethic to make Wisconsin a premier manufacturing hub for the military defense industry. People are to bash him for this. I'm not necessarily against this. My problem is, which company you're talking about. There's some bad companies that you gotta stay far away from. But this idea of bringing manufacturing back to America or Wisconsin is a good platform. Plus, access to high-speed broadband. Rebecca Kleefisch never supported that until 2 weeks ago, until the debates. She never supported that. And it's good stuff. I mean, increase investments in school voucher, vocational technical training. Again, this is a good platform for Wisconsin. Again, Rebecca Kleefisch, it's just generic talking points. Yes, there's some things that are similar on, like the vocational training fund, but that's about it. It's just generic, reduce taxes. I mean, with Michaels, at least, hey, let's get rid of the personal property tax. That I do love. And the other issues, I do think that Michaels is beating Kleefisch with, and especially government reform. This is the other issue Michaels is eons better than Kleefisch over. To drain the Madison swamp. If you don't know Madison, the corruption of Madison's ridiculous. And he actually has a plan to, fix Madison. It's good stuff. I mean, you can read over it, but it's a very good platform to finally pushing some real government reform. You can keep looking at this. His education blueprint, very in detail, very in depth. It's a pretty good platform. And I recommend people read all of it. I mean, people just say, but Rebecca Kleefisch. Michaels has a more in detail plan. It's just a fact. And it's a good plan that, actually addresses the issues, right? Empower and trust parents, the parental bill of rights, expand apprenticeships. Good stuff. Kleefisch is just, 3 lines, right? It's like, protect parents. But here, it's actually in detail. So that is why I support Tim Michaels. My opinion, the issues that do matter, he significantly outclasses Rebecca Cleefish on. And again, I can understand if you support Cleefish, but the one thing that Cleefish had the advantage on was social issues. She's bent the knee on it. Michaels, he stood his ground. Gotta give it to him. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And, yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.